You brought up Second Samuel, like the part where it's like Absalom and David's concubines.
Yeah, the Second Samuel chapter 16, chapter 12, and chapter 20, and you're going to tell me that they weren't raped; they went willingly. Yeah. So in Second Samuel chapter 12, David is given a punishment for what he did with Bathsheba and his interaction with Uriah as well. And the punishment that is handed down says, "Thus saith the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight." And then in chapter 16, that's what happens. Absalom wages a war against his own father, trying to take the throne from him. And in a display of force, he sleeps with 10 of David's wives. The problem is that the women didn't commit the sin, David did. So why are they the ones getting raped? We're not talking about
Like,
Absalom. We're talking about God's responsibility. I don't care what Absalom did. Absalom's not God.
Oh, please, Justin, the real you can't be that dumb. The claim that 2 Samuel 12:11 teaches that God himself is the direct cause of rebellion, rape, and incest is not only hermeneutically reckless, it's blasphemously stupid. Let's deal with this like adults using actual scholarship and not sensationalist proof text or eisegesis. Hebrew uses causative verbs in prophetic announcements. It's often idiomatic, linguistically expressing divine permission, not divine perpetration. And that's not controversial. It's standard grammar in Hebrew theology. We see this exact idiom in Exodus 4:21. God says he will harden Pharaoh's heart. Yet just a few verses later, it's Pharaoh who hardens his own heart. God's sovereignty includes permission, not coercion. Same with Job. Satan attacks, but Job says, the Lord has taken away. That's Hebrew worldview language. God is sovereign even when he's permitting evil, not causing it. Now, back to David. Nathan tells David, I will raise up evil from your own house. And that's exactly what happened. Absalom's coup, Amnon's rape, and family betrayal all exploded as natural consequences of David's sin. It wasn't God doing evil. It was David opening the door to chaos, and God simply let the flood through. To say otherwise is to accuse God of orchestrating rape and incest. That's theological malpractice and moral insanity. Do you even hear yourself? Let's talk about Absalom's infamous act. The text says he took David's concubines, but this wasn't bedroom perversion. It was political theater. In the ancient Near East, royal harems symbolized dynastic authority. By entering the harem tent, Absalom was declaring to all of Israel that the throne now belonged to him. That's why it was done publicly in the sight of the sun. Whether sex even happened is irrelevant. The point was legitimacy, not lust. Moreover, the concubines were not just women kept for pleasure. They were royal wives by alliance. Dynastic marriages in the ancient Near East were power moves. Women of noble birth were sent to form diplomatic bonds, not fulfill carnal cravings. This is what's well documented in ancient Near East records from Ebla, Marie, and even Egypt. Rulers married daughters and sisters of rival kings to secure peace and status, when these weren't brothel maidens. They were political instruments. And how did David treat these women after Absalom's rebellion? As widows. They were placed in protected quarters, provided for, and never touched again. That alone demolishes the idiotic idea that this was rape. David himself understood that the harem had been transferred, not defiled. Even ancient rabbinic commentary acknowledges the Hebrew idiom of permission. It's all over the Targums. God says he will do what he merely allows. So stop treating Hebrew idiom like Greek determinism. They're not the same. Bottom line, God's holiness is uncompromised. He doesn't author sin, he judges it. And David reaped the whirlwind of his own making. Don't stop turn that into divine rape theology just to score points. That's not exegesis. That's a smear campaign against the character of God. You want one verse that nukes the causative nonsense? Try Hosea 8:7. They sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. That's what happened. Period.